No, I don't think it or take it in that manner. Though US and Saudi Arabia, they have been trying to uh, enter into a defense pact, but that couldn't come through primarily because of the Gaza situation, and as well as American reluctance not to extend defense guarantees to Saudi Arabia. Having said that, the situation in the region has definitely changed, and it is good to see that Pakistan, Saudi Arabia have been able to conclude this agreement, and it's a big development from both countries' perspectives. And I'm glad that Pakistan's is now recognized as a country which can provide security guarantees to its Muslim brotherly countries. First of all, I think we need to emphasize that this security agreement between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia is not against any specific country. It is in consonance with Pakistan's defense doctrine. We do not believe in aggression. So this pact or this agreement is against aggression. So, and I'm looking at this agreement through this prism that if Pakistan comes under aggression by any country, and Saudi Arabia will stand by us, and vice versa. And definitely the situation the way it is in the Gulf, the Israeli attack on Doha on the 9th of September has definitely transformed the situation, and the Gulf countries are genuinely worried about their security requirements. And Pakistan is one country which has traditionally been there in the Gulf for a number of, for long years, I would say, and it's a reliable partner, and all Gulf countries realize that. And let's be honest, Pakistan Saudi defense cooperation goes back 2 years. We and tacitly speaking, Pakistan was always committed to the security and protection of Harman Sharifan. So our commitment has always been there. The presence of our troops has always been there, especially after 1979. But I'm glad that this has now taken a it has become a formal arrangement now. The security architecture, which is now being evolved in the Gulf region itself, is of great interest, I think, not only to Pakistan, but I think to the world as a whole. And this also shows, in a way, that the world is changing at large. Uh, I would still not say that the US is a declining power. US is still a superpower, a very important country in the world. But on the other hand, China is also a rising superpower. So things are changing. We are moving towards a different world. So it is important for a country like Pakistan to position itself positively so that our national interests are also preserved and protected. About 2 years ago, I have put forth a proposal under the caption of Crescent Security Initiative, and I thought that a NATO-like arrangement would be is required for the Muslim world. Now that Pakistan and Saudi Arabia have signed this mutual agreement, uh, but I'm not really seeing that other countries joining unblock, other Muslim countries unblock this agreement. It would be a slow process, and it can go beyond the Gulf countries, in my view. Countries like Bangladesh, who have serious problems, security problems vis-a-vis India, they may be interested to join at some stage. And that was the whole idea of the Crescent Security Initiative. But whether or not Pakistan and Saudi Arabia would like to include other countries I am not sure that at this stage that is being considered. Definitely, the two countries, their first priority would be to further strengthen, consolidate their defense cooperation, and see how this unfolds in real terms. I mean, it is Article 5 like NATO, Article 5 like mutual agreement is a good beginning, but how to execute this, if an aggression takes place, let's say on Saudi Arabia, how that will be responded to. So these are fine details, and I'm sure that before expanding this, the two countries would like to work out on these details, because after everything is said and done, execution is important so that we create a credible deterrence against any aggression. And that is the whole idea, to have deterrence in place, credible deterrence in place. And I'm sure that combining and to create synergies and combining Pakistan's military prowess and the financial space which Saudi Arabia provides, this combination should work well for both Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. We have our own perception threats, particularly vis-a-vis Israel and India. India is not the only country with which Pakistan faces some hostility, but we also at times do have security concerns vis-a-vis Israel. On the other hand, Saudi Arabia does have kind of, they have been cooperating with India. They have even had military exercises with India. So their level of cooperation with India is different because we do not recognize Israel. As far as Israel is concerned, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia are on the same page in the sense that we do not have any relations with Saudi Arabia. So let's see how things pan out, unfold in the months and years ahead. These are the things, which relate to details, I would say, because I am not, no one has seen, I'm not privy to the details of the agreements. But when we say that attack on one is considered attack on both, then obviously it would encompass all military means, and then, during the latest recent war between Pakistan and India, we have shown to the world that our nuclear threshold is not that low. We also capable, conventionally speaking, to thwart any aggression against Pakistan. And I think nuclear, whether or not Pakistan has also provided nuclear umbrella to Saudi Arabia, that we better not discuss these things in the sense that it all depends what kind of an aggression either of the two countries face in the months and years ahead. So it will all depend. The first thing is to establish credible deterrence, in my view. So once that deterrence is there, whether that is in the form of presence of effective missiles or defense shield or defense systems. So it would all hinge on those things. So one would wish that deterrence, both in the context of Saudi Arabia and in the context of Pakistan, that is there and that remains credible, and both countries work closely together in order to ensure that the credibility of their bilateral mutual deterrences is observed and is maintained. I think India still enjoys good relations with all the Gulf countries, and they have a very large workforce there. Let's say, for example, in Saudi Arabia, they have close to 2.7 million people working there. Their trade relations are very good. Even with Saudi Arabia, they have a bilateral trade close to $43 billion. Similarly, in UAE, they have close to 4 million Indians working there. So I would not interpret this agreement as if the relations between India and its Gulf partners have come to a halt, or there is no space left for India in the region. But obviously, Pakistan does gain some advantage in the sense that Saudi Arabia is the biggest country in the Gulf, and it has the capacity to drive the Gulf countries or the Gulf Cooperation Council in a certain direction. So, to that extent, I think India should be worried and is worried, appears to be worried about this. And it is, I'm sure, must be calculating, considering all dimensions to this agreement, both in the context of the bilateral relations with each country in the region, and then as a whole. So it does throw up a challenge for Indian diplomacy, but their defense cooperation has been there with all countries bilaterally. And during the last 11 years, I would say that Modi has been successful in penetrating into the Gulf region, creating more space for itself, even at the expense of Pakistan, I would say. But since the Gaza crisis has started, and the way Pakistan, India have been, their relations have been tense after 5th August 2019 when India abrogated Article 370. Things have been quite tense between the two countries. So let's hope that the Gulf countries would also realize, because they have been slightly in the past lukewarm to come openly and support Pakistan on the Kashmir dispute. And this is another dimension which I'm sure India must be worried as to how this mutual agreement or this military cooperation or military diplomacy will translate into uh, to Pakistan's advantage, diplomatic advantage to muster more support on the Jammu and Kashmir dispute. No, I think it's not about quite financial support. There is no doubt that when two countries sign such a pact, it inevitably affects or improves cooperation in other spheres of life as well. That goes without saying, because this pact itself or agreement itself would warrant so much cooperation in different areas that a coming of the two countries together in many areas is ineluctable, would be necessary in order, as I said earlier, in order to put up a credible deterrence, they would need to cooperate in many, many areas, even beyond defense and military cooperation. So I think that Pakistan can expect more. By the way, Saudi Arabia has been some sort of, supporting Pakistan vis-a-vis India. It has been a member of the contact group in the OIC on Jammu and Kashmir. So now one can expect that this support would be more explicit. And let's hope that Pakistan, now that we played our military cards well, Pakistan would be able to play its also demonstrate some political finesse, diplomatic finesse as well, in order to not only to get more and more support from only Saudi Arabia, but also other Gulf countries. So this is what I would be expecting in the times ahead. I think that India has always understood the 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 foundations, the solid foundations of Pakistan-Saudi Arabia relations. They did try, and to a certain extent, they succeeded, I would say. But at the end of the day, I think the way world is changing and the way the region has changed, the West Asia in particular, after 7th October 2023. I think Modi government has tried to overplay it. I mean, they were kind of clever by half by showing exercising aggression against Pakistan, And then they thought that Pakistan has become kind of irrelevant from their perspective, but they did not understand the strengths of Pakistan. So their SWOT analysis, SWOT analysis, has been somewhat drawn, I think, wrong conclusions about Pakistan. So I would agree with you that they miscalculated the intrinsic strength of Pakistan-Saudi relations, or the concept of Ummah itself, I would say. And they cannot really digest or comprehend his strength when it comes, or when it is required to come into play. So I think yes, they have miscalculated, and but I'm glad that now some sanity. I hope sanity prevails, both in Israel and in India, and they are, they together, they pose a huge challenge to the Muslim world, in my view. And you will see that while they're already cooperating in different areas, you will see after this agreement India-Israel cooperation would further increase or enhance, because these are the two countries which closely coordinate with each other in order to suppress, on the one hand, the Palestinian struggle, and here in South Asia, the Kashmiri struggle. So their interests converge, their strategies, they play from they, I mean, they act from the same playbook. So there we need to, the Muslim world needs to be careful when these two countries cooperate and work together. It is definitely a cause of concern for all of us, both in South Asia and West Asia. I think, as far as, if you look at from the Saudi perspective, I would say it was Gaza which changed everything, because they have been in discussion with the United States of America for for security guarantees. But while the Biden administration as well as the Trump administration looked at this positively, the U.S. Congress was not amenable to such a proposition. So it was not going anywhere. Now that, and then obviously uh, Israeli attack on Doha, for whatever reason, it triggered the entire thing. Though Pakistan and Saudi Arabia have been discussing the thing uh, before this, because such agreements cannot come become a reality in a jiffy, in 2 3 days. So these discussions, as far as I can assess, have been going on for a year or two, I would say. So this all triggered by Gaza and Americans' reluctance to enter into such an agreement with Saudi Arabia. And given the fact, as I said earlier, Pakistan remains a reliable partner. We would never ditch our friends in difficult situations. And we have shown this time and again, frankly speaking. Even today, when there has been enormous pressure on Pakistan to recognize Israel, Pakistan is not relenting on that, is not showing any no way till time a Palestinian state is recognized. And I think Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, at least, our positions, we are on the same wavelength when it comes to this particular issue. So I say it's a combination of many variables, factors, but the real, and then you very rightly pointed out that our four-day war with India, perhaps also played a role. But I think Saudi Arabia knew about our strengths, of our capabilities, hence our defense cooperation has been going on for decades now. But these are the turning points or inflection points which have come during these last 2 years. And I'm glad that at least first break of the Crescent Security Initiative has been laid. And let's hope that in future, some distant future, if not near future, Few more countries would like to join, but it would be for Pakistan and Saudi Arabia to see when and how this arrangement can be extended. Oh, it does. That goes without saying. It does, and I would like to commend those who have been conducting, this military diplomacy, and also on the diplomatic side as well. It's a big step for Pakistan, but we should not be complacent at the end of the day. This military agreement is for a limited purpose. It has limited objectives, though it can open up many vistas, avenues for us. But the question remains that Pakistan needs to uh, strengthen itself internally, put more and more focus on our economic situation, because military power, yes, plays an important role, but Pakistan needs to also be a medium-sized or middle-sized economic power as well. And if our military agreement or security agreement with Saudi Arabia can help us to also put our economic house in order, that would be a dividend which I am looking for. And then there is no doubt that the Pakistan has emerged as a country which can provide guarantees, security guarantees or security to its Muslim brotherly countries. But I think it is time that while we are capable of doing that, we should also put our economic house in order so that this whole process can be sustained with dignity and self-respect.